The Great Fairy Race by Tennant Redbank. On your marks, Queen Clarion called. Get set! She raised her hands in the air. Go! Queen Clarion shouted. A light flashed across the sky. The Great Fairy Race was on. The rules of the Great Fairy Race were simple. The first one to cross the finish line was the winner. But the fairies could not use their own feet or wings. No running, no flying. Beck rode a squirrel. Right behind her was Fawn on a frog. Ranny flew through the air on Brother Dove's back. Fiera soared in a balloon. Silvermist surfed on a wave. Tinker Bell rode a machine she had made out of pots and pans. And Lily sat high atop a giant snail. Hurry, Lily, Bess called, or you will come in last. Lily laughed. I don't care, she said. I like the view up here. Coming through, Silvermist yelled. She sailed past Beck. Now she was first. But then Fawn's frog made a mighty jump. He hopped right over Silvermist. This fairy race is all mine, Fawn crowed. Not for long, Ranny said. She passed Fawn from above. Lily was far behind the others, but she didn't mind. She even stopped to water a flower next to the path. I'll get there soon enough, she said. The fairies crossed the stream. They tore through the meadow. They rounded the home tree. They zoomed past the gardens. But fairy after fairy ran into trouble. Beck's squirrel saw another squirrel. He ran off to play. Turn around, Beck cried in squirrel. We're going the wrong way. The squirrel scampered up a tree. Beck was stuck going with him. Fawn laughed at Beck, but then her frog spotted a fat fly over the pond. Splash! Before she knew it, Fawn and the frog were in the pond. The frog was happy. Fawn was not. See you at the finish line, Tink called to Fawn. A minute later, the wheels of Tink's machine got stuck in the mud. I'll never win now, Tink moaned. Fiera's balloon sprang a leak. It took Fiera 10 minutes to fix the hole. Poor Bess got lost. She knew she was somewhere between the mossy rocks and the crooked tree. But where? She took out a map from her pocket. Which way? She asked herself. Ranny saw a pretty waterfall. She stopped to look at it and fell behind. Silvermist was not watching where she was headed. She sailed into a spider web and got stuck. Before long, Beck and Fawn had their animals under control. Tink dug out her machine. Bess found her way. Ranny and Silvermist were on track again. I see the end, Fiera yelled. They raced for the finish line. They were neck and neck and wing to wing. Who was going to be first? Who would win the Great Fairy Race? The fairies put on a last burst of speed. They were almost there. All of a sudden, Tink's front wheel ran over the squirrel's tail. Tink and Beck and the squirrel went down. Nuts and bolts, Tink groaned. Fawn and her frog were right behind them. They could not stop. Fawn's frog jumped and tripped. It bumped into Ranny and Brother Dove. Brother Dove crashed into Fiera's balloon. The balloon lost air and headed for the ground. Bess and Silvermist went down too. Not one of the fairies made it across the finish line. But wait! Slowly, slowly, Lily and her snail inched forward. They passed Bess. Are you taking a rest, Bess? Lily asked. Lily and her snail passed Fiera. They passed Ranny and Tink and Beck and Fawn and Silvermist. So who won the race? Lily asked. Then Lily and her giant snail crossed the finish line. Lily is the winner! Queen Clarion cried. I am? Lily asked. Lily looked with surprise at the other fairies. I thought the race was already over, she said. The fairies cheered for Lily. Hooray for Lily and her snail, everyone called. Queen Clarion put a necklace of flowers around Lily's neck. She put one around the snail's neck, too. Who knew a snail would be the fastest creature in Pixie Hollow? Queen Clarion said. The end. From my heart to yours, you are loved today and always.